Hello, good friends. Today we are dealing with the quadrants and the graphs. And so if we look at this figure, this portion is called the first quadrant. And then we could see that if we consider this right-angled triangle, we have 90 degrees here. So it makes it right-angled triangle. You could see that all the components, the hypotenuse, the opposite, the adjacent are positive. If we measure the angle this way, it's positive. If we measure it the clockwise, it's negative. So all the sine, the cos, and the tangent will give us positive. And so we say that all the ratios are positive in this quadrant. So we designate this as all. If we move on to the next quadrant, if we lift this and bring it over here, we'll see that the adjacent is negative and that will affect cos and tangent. So that will be negative, negative, while the sine will be opposite, for hypotenuse, which will be positive, positive. And so the sine only is positive here, whilst all the three ratios are positive there with their reciprocals. Now, in the third quadrant, we will see that if we have a right angle triangle, then our adjacent is negative, the opposite is also negative. So it will affect sine, it will affect cos, but tangent will be negative over negative, so that will be positive. So in the third quadrant, it is only tangent that is positive, while sine is negative and cosine is negative. In the fourth quadrant, we have the opposite being negative, so it will affect sine and it will affect tangent as well, but the cosine will be adjacent over the hypotenuse and all of them are positive, so cosine will be positive. So in all the four quadrants, we've acquainted ourselves with their signs. And so anytime you are computing any angle in any of the quadrants, you bear in mind their signs and then you attach the relevant signs to them. This is a very important concept. So over here, all, so we designate by A. Over here is only sine, so S. Over here is tangent only, so T. Over here is cosine, so C, A, S, T. So cast, you can use cast to remember that these are the signs for the various. So cosine is positive, all the ratios are positive, sine is positive, and then tangent is positive over here. That's fantastic. Now, let's look at the graphs. We want to use the sine function over here. Now, if you look at the sketch, we have our 0 and it passes through the origin. And so then we have sine 90 giving us 1. And then sine 180, which is pi, giving us 0. And so on. Now, if you look at the behavior of the curve, you see that from 0 up to 2 pi or 360, it repeats itself. So from here, it moves again, repeating the same pattern. So you look at 0 up to 2 pi or 360, we have the same shape, so we can lift from this to that and place it here, and it moves on and on. So every 360 degrees, the sine curve repeats itself. Every 0 to 360 degrees, the sine curve repeats itself, and it hovers between +1 and -1. So the maximum value that sine function can go is 1 and then -1. That's great. And the cosine function, what will happen is that this will be shifted to this side. So 0 on the cosine function becomes 1. So cos 0, that's what it means. I will shift this back here, and that also define the same thing. Within every 360, it repeats itself. For the tangent function, that one will be using the asymptotes, and so that's also a popular graph. So my good friends, we've acquainted ourselves with the quadrants and their related signs. I've also acquainted you with the graphs, sine, using that also with a shift giving us the cosine, and then reminding you that tangent also deals with the asymptotes. Thank you so very much for your attention. Bye.